Second grade readers. All right, welcome to reading class with me, Miss Taylor. We are going to get started. Let's see, are we ready? Do we have our textbook? Got mine, bookmark or finger to follow along. Workbook, check. Pencil. Some things to remember. We're going to track with our finger. We're going to read each word carefully. We're going to pay attention to end marks. And some of our goals for today, we're going to read with accuracy and expression. We're going to understand what's happening in the story, and we're going to make connections to characters' feelings. We're going to enjoy the story. All right, reading is thinking. There's so many things that are going on in our brains. I just like to have this image to remind us about all the amazing things that your brain is doing as you are reading. Let's see. One thing that we sometimes do before we start our next lesson is to summarize, which is that little thought bubble in the middle. When we summarize, we kind of retell the important events about what happened. So in our last story, we were introduced to Edna Parker, and she is the daughter of Captain Parker. They're on a big ship, and they are heading into the Atlantic Ocean. They're going to some island off of Florida called Andros Island. And Edna is excited about this trip because she gets to bring a friend along. And her friend's name is Carla. And they are excited, but also slightly nervous because Captain Parker said they will be going into an area called the Bermuda Triangle, where strange things have happened to ships. Many ships have been lost or have sunk in the ocean, in the Atlantic Ocean. So I wonder what will happen. So that is kind of summarizing, sort of telling what happened. Also, we can think about like what is worth remembering, because we can't remember everything that happened in a story. So we kind of try to remember the most important events that happened. Okay, so we have a new vocabulary sentence today. And our new vocabulary sentence is the rim of the volcano exploded. Ah, look out. All right. So a volcano is a mountain that is made from hot flowing rock that comes from inside the earth. Ooh. And we will learn more about volcanoes when we study about rocks and minerals in science. Okay. So everyone, what do we call a mountain formed from flowing rock? Volcano. Nice job. The sentence says the rim exploded. Things with a thin top edge have a rim. The rim of the volcano is the top edge of the volcano. So in this picture over here, you can see this is sort of the rim. It's like the top edge of the volcano, the rim. And when things explode, they make a loud bang and fly apart. If the rim exploded, it made a loud bang and flew apart. All right, so again, our new sentence, the rim of the volcano exploded. What word means made a bang and flew apart? Yeah, exploded. What word means a mountain formed from hot flowing rock? Volcano. What word means the top edge of something? The rim. Nice job. Alrighty, let's go ahead and look at lesson 25. If you would please follow along with me. Lesson 25 starts on page 125. So lesson 25, 125. All right. So we have a lot of words today. We better get started. We have 5 lists. Okay. So let's take a look at column 1. Word 1 is seagulls. What word? Seagulls are birds that are seen around the ocean. They're sometimes called gulls. Word 2 is elevator. What word? Word 3 is surface. What word? Word 4 is pirates. What word? Arrgh. Word 5 is instant. What word? And word 6 is handkerchief. What word? Yeah, and that 6th word looks like handkerchief, but we usually say handkerchief, but looks like handkerchief. Handkerchief. That's a strange word, isn't it? All right, let's read those the fast way. Seagulls, elevator, surface, pirates, instant, handkerchief. Nice job. All right, let's take a look at column number 2. Number 1 is first mate. What words? The first mate is a crew member who is the captain's main helper. So you have the captain, and then the main helper is the first mate. Word 2 is mast. What word? The mast on a ship is a tall pole. Some masts are used to hold sails in place. So that mast is a tall pole on a ship. Word 3 is engineer. What word? The engineer on a ship is the crew member who makes sure the engine is running well. Oh, makes sense. Engineer. So an engineer will often make sure the engine is running correctly. And engineers can do a lot of other things too, but in this story, the engineer makes sure that the engine of the ship is running well. And word 4 is silent. What word? All right. Let's see, let's go ahead to column 3. Word 1 is galley. What word? The galley is the kitchen on a plane or a ship. So if you're talking about the kitchen on a ship or a plane, you can call it the galley. So the galley is the kitchen. Word 2 is stern. The stern of a ship is the back of the ship. Everyone, what do we call the back of the ship? Stern. Nice job. Word 3 is touch. What word? Touch. Word 4 is pretend. What word? And word 5 is roughed. What word? Nice job. All right. Column 4. We're going to do these the fast way. Exciting. Powered. Squawking. Sliced. Nice job. And column 5. We're going to do this the fast way too. Hailstone. Spyglass. Tiptoe. Nice job. All right. So let's go ahead and find part C. Everybody, what's the title? Let's see, the title, not part C, part B, I mean. The title is Looking for Something to Do. Do. All right. Looking for something to do. Edna and Carla had dashed out of the map room. They had run to the stern of the ship, where they watched the seagulls that followed the ship. The girls watched the waves roll off the stern of the ship. All right, so remember, they came from the map room. You can see there's the door to the map room. So they came out the map room, and then they ran back to the stern of the ship. So kind of back here. Remember, the stern means the back of the ship. All right. Then the girls ran to the galley. The cook was busy. They tried to talk to him, but the only thing he wanted to talk about was how much his new gold tooth hurt. Whoa, his tooth. Maybe he got a filling. After the girls spent about 5 minutes in the galley, they went to the engine room. Okay, so first the girls were in the map room. And then where did they go? To the stern of the ship, the back of the ship. And then where? They went to the galley. That's the kitchen. There's the door to the galley. And in the galley, that's where all the meals are prepared. And they saw the cook. And they didn't stay in the galley. Why? Yeah, there was kind of a grumpy cook in there. And the cook just wanted to talk about how much his tooth hurt. He's like, oh, I got a new gold tooth. It hurts. And everyone, where did they go next? The engine room. So back here, the stairs to the engine room, right there. Ooh. All right. Oh, and in your book, I should mention this is on the next page. So you might have to flip to the next page to see the picture of the map of the boat, the ship. Okay. The engine room in a ship is the place where the ship's engine is. Some ships have engines that are as big as a schoolroom. The engine of Captain Parker's ship was not that big. It was about the size of a small truck. The engineer looked at the girls and said, "What do you think you're doing here?" They told him they were looking around. He replied, "You want to stay here, I'll put you to work. So if you don't want to work, get out." Ooh, kind of grumpy too. All right. So the girls left the engine room. I don't blame them. They walked around the front deck. They thought about climbing the ladder that went up to the top mast, but that seemed too scary. That would be scary. All right. Would you like to climb the mast? Okay, so the girls, so they went to the engine room. They didn't stay in the engine room because the engineer was quite cranky, wasn't he? He was saying, like, if you don't want to work, you need to leave. You need to get out of here. And then after they left the engine room, then they went to, let's see, where did they go? They went to the front deck. Oh, so they walked around. They went to the front deck. Be up here. And then they thought about climbing the mast. So you can see on the next page in your book, you can see the mast is this tall pole. And they're thinking, should we climb this tall pole? I don't know. And then they kind of decided not to. Okay. At last, the girls sat down on the front deck near a lifeboat. They sat and they sat and they sat. The girls tried to talk about different things. Edna studied the water. Then she realized that she was doing the same kinds of things that she used to do when she went alone on these trips. She was sitting in the sun, watching the water. The sea was very calm, like a sheet of glass. The ship sliced through the water and left waves that moved out in a giant V as far as Edna could see. There were beads of sweat on Carla's forehead. Must have been pretty hot. She had beads of sweat on her forehead. Carla said, "This Bermuda Triangle isn't as exciting as they say it is." Edna nodded. "Yeah, this is boring." For a moment, the girls were silent. Edna heard the squawking sound of the seagulls and the steady hum of the great engine that powered the ship. Then Carla said, "I wish we had our own boat. Then we could have some fun. I could be captain, and you would be my first mate." The girls looked at each other and smiled. Edna said, "Why don't we pretend that we have our own ship?" All right, please read the rest of the story on your own. Find out two things. Find out what Carla wanted to use for her ship, and find out what Edna first thought of Carla's idea. If you're not finished reading the story, please pause the video. All right, everyone, what did Carla want to use for their pretend ship? A lifeboat. And what did Edna first think of the idea of using the lifeboat? Yeah, she did not want to do it. How many crew members were watching? None. No one is watching them. I wonder what those girls are going to do. I'm sure they'll use their prudence and they'll make the right choice, right? I don't know. Okay, so let's see, what is next? You are going to reread the story on your own. There we go. So you're going to reread the story on your own. You're going to answer the questions at the end. And then you're going to complete your workbook, read for 20 more minutes, a book of your choice after that. Already, and we are going to do some complete sentence answers again. So yesterday, this was our first time to do some CS, some CSs, some complete sentence answers. So for today, we're going to do number 1 in our workbook is going to be a CS, a complete sentence answer. And number 1, this is the same question from yesterday. That's okay. It's good for our brains to do a little review. How old was Edna Parker? So we're going to use a capital letter to begin our sentence. Edna Parker. I'm going to use a capital letter for her first name and her last name. It's a proper noun. Edna Parker was 13, period. Or you could say 13 years old. So it's going to look like that. There's one of our complete sentence answers. So for today, we're going to have two complete sentence answers. So that was the first one, number 1, and the other one is number 9. So I'm going to put a CS right next to number 9 here. Which girl wanted to play in the lifeboat? Ooh. Who wanted to play in the lifeboat? Carla. So to make our complete sentence answer, I'm going to use a capital C. And I'm going to write Carla wanted to kind of run out of space. I'm going to use that space down below. To play in the lifeboat, period. All right. So that is our second complete sentence answer. Looks like that. Got my capital letter and my end mark, and I like to circle my end mark and double underline my capital letters to make sure I've got my best sentence there. So each day, we're going to choose at least a couple sentences to practice writing our complete sentence answers with capital letters and end marks and writing nicely and neatly. So again, making those connections between reading and writing, which is a very prudent thing for us to do. It's good for our brains to make those connections too, and to see the usefulness of what we're learning in writing and applying it to other subjects. So awesome. All right, have a wonderful rest of your day, second graders, and I will see you again soon. Okay, bye.